everybody, my name is Teno Merkava, and in today's video, as promised in my last video, that I will be speaking about Venus in Virgo through the 12 astrological houses, because many people have a Venus in Virgo, but it will be kind of directed differently depending on the house it's in. So let's start with the first house, right? So the first house is your personality, it's your personal issues, it's things that you go through personally as a personal individual. It's basically your individual house, it's like how you handle things whenever you go through things, Like there's a difference between handling things as a group, but how do you handle your own shit, And the thing is with the first house and Venus, they're opposite houses kind of, because the first house rules Aries and Aries is ruled by Mars, so this is kind of an issue for Venus to be in the first house, and then it's also a double issue because it's in Virgo, bitch. So off the back, this is definitely somebody I would say who struggles a lot more with relationships, because how you handle yourself as a person, this is, if you have, I think you would have Venus in the, you have your Virgo ascendant, or you would have a Leo ascendant, but then your Virgo didn't make it in the second house, so it had to go into the first house, But for generalized, if you have a Virgo ascendant conjuncting your Venus, this is definitely somebody who wants to organize their relationships, right? And you generally already organize. Oh, it kind of may be difficult to organize your own life, so you feel better organizing other people's lives, especially if they've now become, or they've made their way into your personal life. So I think this is also one of the placements that would have people have very major difficulties being in relationships. It's already difficult for a Venus and Virgo to be in a relationship, but having it in the first house just kind of makes you it's like you have somewhat of a selfish, personalized love. So I think you would probably be a person that would come into a relationship with specific instructions on how to relationship, or you would have specific expectations for your other partner, and if they literally don't live up to those systems, then it's an issue for you, because that's when you start nagging and you take it somewhat personally, because you start reflecting your own or projecting your own internal manuals on how to do things, which are so unrealistic. And once you realize that people are actual human beings and not robots, and that kind of makes you, it doesn't sit well with you, to know that somebody, it's either you have severe control issues, because this is somewhat similar than the Scorpio Venus in the first house, where you may have severe control issues, and you've just kind of realized in your life that relationships are just not for you, because the way that you relate, which is in the most unrelatable way, is damaging to the relationships that you have. So you also may be the type of person that would think, no, I'm not toxic, everybody else is toxic, when you may be the issue sometimes, because you don't allow people to just fuck up. You don't allow people to make humanly mistakes, because you think that you are a fucking Aquarius with that God complex, or a Pisces with that God complex, you know what I'm saying? And you're not, you're still carbon matter like the rest of us, I feel that's just, as you grow up, you realize that you have these issues, especially with love. But I also feel with this particular placement pertaining to how you were raised and stuff, you also may have severe issues with, I would say, your mother maybe, or your sister maybe. You probably had a very selfish sister maybe, or you had a very selfish mother, or just the theme of how your mom treated you was somewhat very selfish. Or if you didn't get good grades, if you didn't, if you weren't on your own shit, then you kind of got coldness. So you probably may have felt that the only way to receive love is if you were a perfect person, if you always cooked, or did well at school. And you're probably really hard on yourself with this too. But I know Virgo energy is also usually hard on themselves, unless they have Libra placements, but yeah, guys, I would say just chill out on being super hard on yourself and taking it personally, to the point where you think that the only way to kind of love and appreciate yourself, because this is also the house of the self, like the only way to love and appreciate yourself would to be maintaining your high standards, you know. So I would just, and I know as a Virgo, you always want to have some kind of like rewarding feeling, like, oh yeah, I accomplished this and I have this and I hold myself like this and I'm this kind of person. But just realize like you are allowed to fuck up, you know, because you don't want to be one of those people that because you're so perfect, people look at you as like, oh, she's so snarky or he's so snarky, and then they get really happy when you do something fucked up, and then you beat yourself up so much for fucking up that one time. Because I know Virgo energy can do that, but severely, you know. You can like sting yourself or like really hurt yourself just because you make that one small mistake, and then people are happy about that because you're usually like the most well put together person, and maybe you are, and you know how to put yourself together, but just know like you are allowed to fuck up, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would say that. But I also say maybe in relationships, because you always do that to you always do that to yourself, like your partners may also feel like they have to maintain this kind of standard where they have to kind of be on your same level. And you know what, yes queen, do that shit for yourself, but I would just say don't expect other people to do that for you if you don't really know how to do that for yourself. And if you do, which I doubt you do because you are a human once again, you know, just let people do what they do. And I feel like a Venus and a Pisces person would teach you or would kind of show you how to let loose, you know. So I'd say get around a Venus and Pisces, even though they may annoy the shit out of you, especially if it's a guy, because they're going to be so fucking reckless. Oh my god, they're going to be so reckless, and you may hate that, but I feel like they'll show you how to just kind of like chill out, just chill the fuck out and like let life happen, you know. And then if you have Venus in Virgo in the second house, so this is one of the placements where it's like a lot better for Venus to be in. So with this, you are a Leo rising, I'm assuming, or you are I don't know, what else could you, not a Cancer rising. You could be a Cancer rising, you know, because then Venus didn't quite make it to the third house, so it just jumped in the second house. But if you're Leo rising with this, then I feel like these are one of the placements that kind of make you a lot more warmer, a lot more friendlier, and a lot more being one of those Venus in Virgos that are like a lot more overly loving, you know, because Venus and Virgo can go either ways. You could be one of those really snarky, kind of suck at love, or how do I say this? You kind of like, you underlove people, and then as a replacement, you kind of treat them like a computer or like a bedspread where you can control every corner and how neat it is, and you iron everything and you make sure it's perfect. Or you could be one of those Venus and Virgos, especially with Venus and Virgo in the second house, that you overlove, and you could like, because this is going to be a double emphasis on the earth energy, right? Because second house is earth. So with this placement, I feel like you're going to more so lean onto the side of kind of being those overly loving Venus and Virgos, the overly giving Venus and Virgos, the overly like smothering kind of Venus and Virgos. You gonna share the Leo and Venus and Leo kind of readings, you know, with this, because it's gonna be like this overflowing of it, because the sign before you is Leo and the sign after you is Libra, and Libra obviously is home in Venus, and then Leo is kind of like the warm, friendly type of shit. So you're gonna, with this placement, I feel like you're gonna either fall, depending on the degree, you're gonna fall on either spectrum, you know what, like whichever spectrum that you fall on. But I feel like with this particular placement, because Venus is home in the second house, it won't maybe do. So I feel like with this, it's gonna help a lot more. Basically, it's gonna help you be a lot better in relationships, but you are still gonna value having somewhat of a system in a relationship, and you're always gonna want feedback as to if you're like being a good lover, or you know. But I think maybe everybody wants that. I would say everybody, maybe not everybody. Tauruses maybe don't care about, as long as you stay, like, as long as you're here with me, Taurus is good with that. But I'd say, yeah, with this Venus in Virgo in the second house, you're just gonna love and appreciate, like, getting feedback and kind of knowing that, okay, this relationship is working, and it's working for the better, you know. This is after you've gone through all those toxic relationships, and you realize the importance of communication, the importance of actually loving and appreciation, but without codependence, you know, that type of thing. I feel like this is definitely the placement where with time you kind of learn how to modify when to be nitpicky, and when knowing when it's not necessarily necessary, generally, you know. So I'd say definitely with this, and also having if you have a Leo rising, that also makes you somewhat of a warm person, you know, definitely. So definitely, I'd say with this placement, you definitely are a lot better at love. Like, like the criticism is still gonna be there. You're still gonna be really funny because the things that you say are gonna look like Leo shit. So you're gonna like criticize, but it's gonna be a lot funny, and people are gonna love you, and you're gonna attract a lot of people in your life that love and appreciate the fact that you are able to nitpick things. So in that way, it's gonna be funny. But then in relationships, like whether it's friendships or whatever, I feel like you're able to also, in a friendly way, tell people what to do or tell people what it is that you think. But then it won't come out as negatively as it would if it was in the first house or the eighth house or the sixth house, which I will get to. So yeah, that's that. And then if you have your Venus in Virgo in the third house, so this is a double emphasis on Mercury now. Third house rules Gemini. We know third house is like, well, you know what third house is, right? So Venus in the third house, this also makes somebody, I think this makes somebody a lot more like a talkative person. I think your love language would be kind of talking, because already Virgo's going to talk about it. Like Virgo's going to talk about what it is that they don't like or what they want to happen or what they do like, which is rare, you know. But I feel like for the most part, like I see somebody being a journalist with this, you know, or like a news writer or a news reporter, somebody who can like report the, you know, like you have those TV stations where people report the news, if you like that type of shit, or a podcast of like talking about the fucked up things that are in the world. Definitely, because third house is communicating, right, and friends and shit, you know. So it could also be a thing where this is Cancer rising vibes, or it could be what's before Cancer. It could be Gemini rising vibes also, because if it was in the fourth house and it didn't quite make it in the fourth house, so it just jumped in the third house. But for the most part, if it's Cancer rising, then I think you like the way you communicate with your friends. You're always kind of the one that has direction. Like you're always the one giving direction to your friends, and you're always the one nurturing how your friends think, or like kind of knowing when your friends are on bullshit, or like, you know, they're like about to do self-deprecating things, or like just about to do things that aren't gonna align with what you think their life path should be, or what they've shown you that their life path should be. So you could be like the really good friend in the friendship, you know, that always gives advice. I feel like that could be your love language also, giving good advice, just talking about good advice. So I feel like with this, so I think Virgo doesn't maybe like to talk about anything unless it has sense, but having it in the third house with Venus, then this is what you're gonna love and appreciate. So I feel like this kind of also soothes it down. It kind of soothes it down, you know, where you're able to just kind of talk about anything and everything and like be able to see the details of the conversation. But definitely with this placement, you're very good at like reading between the lines and seeing the details of like what the fuck is happening, why somebody just said something, but without the emotional connection to it. It'll be more so like the intellectual, like overall, oh, this is how you think, oh, you probably think like this because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you know. It's gonna be different if it was in a fire house or a water house, you know, but you're still gonna be able to kind of be able to speak to anybody and everybody in the whole world, you know, just because the third house was ruling friendships and stuff. But I'll say like in friendships, you are the friend that usually has good advice. You always have like a leaning, like a helping shoulder, because if you have a Cancer rising, this is a sextile with your rising and your Venus. So I also think with this is you're probably going to be somewhat of a private person, and you may have like a lot of childhood friends or school, like friends from school that you just want to hang out with, and like that's your clique, and you usually like learn a lot from them, and there's like a lot of conversations, maybe a lot of gossip from them, and you just like the fact that you can talk to your friends. I feel like this is your love language, like your friends are, or being friendly to your friends, that's your love language, if you know what I'm saying. Like I suppose like just offering advice in a friendly manner, maybe that would be your love language, you know. But I feel like for the most part with this placement, you'd be really good at like journaling, writing, script writing, also just anything with you be able to talk and use your hands, maybe. And I feel like when you do talk, you're also the person that always uses their hands to express things, you know. So you make people dizzy because there's like a whole lot of this. a lot of this. There's a lot of this. But I feel like the way you speak is very fluent, and it's very like people you like to articulate your words, and you can also be like one of those people that help people like be able to speak after they've been traumatized and they like are mute for whatever reason. You may be able to speak, and also you also probably like without you have some people that stutter throughout a sentence. Like you kind of pick up really quickly what they're trying to say. That's really cool. But that's Mercury's vibes. And then if you have it in the 4th house, this is the Gemini rising, but it could also be a Taurus rising, so it didn't quite make it in the 5th house, so it just jumped into the 4th house if you have a Taurus rising. But if it's a Gemini rising, you are somebody, so 4th house we know is like your roots, how you were raised, just your family life, shit like that. So having your Venus in Virgo in the 4th house, this is somebody that's super, super, super private. I think your mother, so, okay, your love language, I would say like, if you didn't already have a Virgo mother, who you kind of saw that she was very nervous or frantic and she just had like a lot of anxiety, I think maybe you could have been raised by a single mom also with this placement, But generally, like a Venus, how it would play out with this is that you probably the one that organizes your home. You probably like cleaning at home. The way you release stress is by cleaning. Generally, Virgos clean when they're angry or anxious. But this is what makes you love and appreciate doing this. You love and appreciate like having a clean home, and you can clean people. So this is probably the placement for domestic workers also. Definitely, or people who would own a business where they come into your home and like just organize your whole room. I know there was that show on TLC called Hoarders, where like OCD people came to hoarders' homes and then they just organized their whole entire house and they just like made it beautiful and clean and all of that shit. That's definitely, I would say, Virgo in the 4th house. Definitely, because it is a sextile, so you're able to kind of nurture the home, but through like making sure that like there's cash, which is also 4th house, and 6th house, making sure there's like order, which is definitely 6th house, there's like a system of doing things, which is probably what you would love and appreciate, like knowing you have a routine at home. At home there's like everything is kind of mapped out. What you like. I feel like with this placement you'd be the type of person that would like kind of organize not your kettle, but your glasses in a specific way. And you probably label them as glasses for juice, and then glasses for tea, glasses for coffee, that type of thing, Like, you probably, like, iron your sheets before you sleep. I feel like this is the placement where you would iron your socks, iron your underwear. You just label everything. Just make sure that there's complete, like, order in your home. Because this is also gonna make you a private lover. So how you would love is, here's the thing. This is what I'm kind of receiving right now, is that already having a Venus in Virgo is the debilitation, and then having it in Cancer, like your home stuff, like that's your private stuff. So I think for you to even invite somebody to your home would kind of make you because you're like, oh my god, you don't know the system of my home, like now I have to teach you and stuff. Because you may invite your partner over and they may not know that the glasses sit here, or they may not know that like the cups are there, the plates need to stay in this specific place, they don't know that when they done drinking a glass of water they're supposed to like turn the cup upside down. They don't know those things. So knowing that you have this placement, it may irk you, or you may know that it's gonna irk you, so you may not even invite your partner over, because you don't want them to know that you're basically a psychopath. Or you just don't want them to kind of fuck up the order in your home, But if it's not that, and you do invite people over, you kind of the one that's always like, what the fuck, don't put your feet there, don't leave your, you have people that always like, don't wear shoes in my house. That's definitely Venus and, Virgo in the 4th house, Like, you tell people how to sit. You probably have fucking plastic on your couches like my grandmother did. and every other black grandmother did. You know, you're just very particular about like the neatness. You know, you probably wake up every morning. You have like a whole system of, okay, every morning I'm gonna wake up, clean my room, wash dishes, you know, exercise at home, go for a swim, go for a jog, come back, make sure the home is organized. You know, shit like that. You know, just your home is always organized, and you love and appreciate and feel at home and comfortable in organized homes. You know, I feel like your home may be also somewhat simple. It may not be too chaotic, you know, but it's just overly clean like all the time, and it's kind of like, okay, how do we get comfortable if we can't get comfortable? Haha, you know. And the way you get comfortable is you have to take 5 showers, and then, you know, that's when someone can, like, that's when you can enjoy yourself. And if you start sweating, you have to go shower again. That's me. Yo, Virgos are wild, dude. Yes, this is real wild. But once again, it will be modified if you have like other placements. But for the most part, having it in the 4th house, yeah, I feel like you're very much connected to those roots, and you love and appreciate knowing that, because your mother could have, it either could have been like your mom was so messy or your parents were so messy that you had to be the one cleaning up, so then that kind of taught you order. Or it could have been a thing where your mom was the one who taught you how to be a clean person, or your father, or whoever was their grandmother taught you how to be a super clean person, so you just learn from them, you know. And then if you have your Venus and Virgo in the 5th house, so 5th house we know is entertainment, fun, dating, things that are like feeling good, you know, the childlike joy, expressive house. So having Venus in the 5th house, this is also one of the placements that kind of help chill out the Virgo energy in Venus. So just like if it was in the 2nd house, this kind of would make somebody be an overlover. You know, you would fall more so on the, not so much on the 4th house where you're trying to like control how the love is supposed to be, because it's up to you, because you want someone to live up to your standards. With the 5th house, I feel like this is going to be somebody that's like, you are more so like, okay, it can either be you're like really expressive on how much you love tidying up, but having the 5th house in Venus, this gives it like a more playful energy. So this is one of the Venus and Virgo people that will be a lot more playful. Like, they may not be a lot more organized, even though they may not be so strict about it. They may not be so naggy about it, because 5th house is all about enjoyment and shit, you know. So they may be like the overly loving Venus and Virgos, like the overly, I want your love and I'm gonna give you my love because I want your love, or, you know, those kind of Venus in Virgos that are like a lot more just chill and not so nitpicky and not so naggy, even though it will be there different times. And that's when you're gonna start seeing like, oh, okay, this person has a Virgo some placement somewhere, but for the most part they're a lot more chill. They may express things that they don't like, because 5th house is about expression, and then Virgo is about like nitpicking and scheduling and all of that discrimination. So they may express it, but in a very funny, humorous way, you know. Like, once they start, like, disliking somebody, it's going to be a lot more funny. So these are those type of people that, like, may have people around them that know, oh my god, Venus and Virgo, they like talking shit, but it's funny. You know, you're like a funny person to be around. You're a fun person. And just having the 5th house in your receptive planets, aka the moon, Jupiter also, and Venus, and Neptune, I'll say, and the sun. Okay, maybe the sun isn't receptive, but kind of like let me just say, those planets, like, that gives you a lot more of a cute, kind of chill vibe. You just, a lot, like, you're always going to attract people, and those people are going to love the vibes that you give. Yeah. Maybe Venus and Virgo, maybe not so much, but it's still going to be there. It's still definitely going to be there, just a little bit, you know. But yeah, for the most part, with this placement, I feel like you're somebody that's a lot more funny, a lot more fun to be around. You're a lot more chill, a lot more, like, you're just more funny about being nitpicky, you know. You'd be the type of Virgo that people laugh at, like, oh, look at you, you hate everything, you know. And it's just funny to people. Whereas if it was in the 1st house, it's a lot more distasteful. Or if it's in the 4th house, it's also a lot more distasteful, you know, because it's like, oh my god. Whoa. Or if it's in the 8th house also, it'll be a lot more distasteful. But once again, it's going to depend on your other placements, you know. So yeah. So I just say with this placement, you're expressing things that you are nitpicking. This is somebody that loves and appreciate. So you'd also like I feel like you also know how to like nitpick your friends or your partner or whatever, but the way it's gonna come off or the way people are gonna receive it isn't gonna be as harsh as it would if it was in, you know, first house, sixth house, or eighth house. You know, it's a lot more, oh, okay, she's just talking shit, maybe, whatever. And then yeah, so that's good for you. So then if you have Venus and Virgo in the sixth house, oh man, I'm so sorry. So we already know Virgo is ruled by the sixth house, right? So this is a double emphasis on the Virgo and the sixth house and the Mercury and the mutable energy, you know. Definitely somebody has major issues. Once again, I'll say this, it's going to depend on your entire birth chart, right? But I'm assuming with the sun, you have an Aries rising, or you have a Pisces rising. So your Virgo Venus didn't quite make it in the seventh house, so it just jumped in the sixth house, right? But for the most part, having this placement, and if you do have an Aries rising, then this is also going to kind of add on to your unrelatability, you know, the fact that you're not a relatable person. So you're definitely somebody that like you're not really good at relationships, and you're not really good at having relationships because you know how like I feel like you can get uncomfortable in knowing that things are going smoothly because you're always gonna find something that's wrong. You're always gonna find something that doesn't work. You're always gonna find something that you don't like. You're always gonna make a fucking problem when you can just sit there and just love and accept something or somebody just as it is, you know? Like, you definitely don't know how to just go with the flow because you're gonna question everything because you wanna see if somebody has the sense to even take charge, you know what I'm saying? You know, because you may also be really chaotic with this. I don't know, Virgo energy can be really chaotic because it's so mutable and changeable and whatever. But for the most part, because it's opposite to Pisces, and Pisces is a sign that just goes with the flow, just accepts things as they come, just see what happens. With this placement, it's really difficult for you to do that because you always want to know what's happening. You always want to know, why are we doing this? Why? How are we going to do this? And if it doesn't make sense, you're like, what the fuck? Did you even think about this? And then when somebody asks you, okay, do you have a better suggestion? And then you start thinking, you're like, you don't have a better suggestion, but you just want to sit there and talk shit and just kind of like not go with the flow. And if you are going with the flow, then you're criticizing the flow as you're going with the flow. So you may just be a really difficult person to deal with generally. And you may know this about yourself. So you may know that, okay, relationships are not for me. So you just love and appreciate your own work. You know, you may be a workaholic with this placement, I feel. But definitely you love and appreciate just working, taking care of your health. And with this, I feel like this adds on to how nervous you are generally about like anything in life. You know, if you're not working, you get nervous. If you skipped a meal, you get nervous. If you didn't drink your coffee, you get nervous about it. If you didn't take your vitamins, you get nervous. If someone didn't text you back, you start like overthinking, get nervous, you know. Because also Virgo energy doesn't want to be annoying, but they are annoying. You know, having this, having your Venus in Virgo in the sixth house, also because I said it adds a double emphasis on the Virgo energy. And Virgo energy, as I said, they don't like to kind of be a nuisance to people because they want to be off service, you know. So if they feel like they're not servicing somebody in the way that they like, or they're annoying somebody, aka, you know, they're going to get nervous about that, and they're going to start like trying to nitpick themselves and kind of criticize, why am I like this, while they're like in a situation with people, you know. So with this, it can get really chaotic, you know, and you can also get really sick because once you get nervous, it goes into your intestines and your organs because that's what we're ruled by. I'm a Virgo sun sign, so I know this firsthand, you know. Once you get nervous, your hands get really cold because now the blood circulation is like come to your big organs, and then you may just start shaking. And if you're a cigarette smoker like me, you know, you start smoking like 10 packs of cigarettes. You know, okay, maybe not 10, that's extreme, but like you just like go for a cigarette or a shot or whatever. But I definitely say with this placement, you're very much like, if you're not a vegan or vegetarian, pescatarian, like you're definitely on your health. You know, you very much know that you need to be healthy. And I feel like your love language is kind of taking care of other people's health also. You I feel like with this, you could definitely be a nurse or a doctor or whatever, just like in the health industry, you know, even if it's like Reiki, you do shit like that, anything with your hands, or knowing that you can like have control over taking care of somebody. That's definitely something I see with Venus in Virgo in the 6th house, you know. You may suck at love, but you're very good at like kind of giving services to people, you know, like servicing people and making them feel better with their physical body, you know. You just may and I feel like also with you may overly worry about your own health, you know. If you miss gym day, you get worried, you know. If you walk out of gym day and your body isn't trembling because you worked out so much, you probably get worried about that. You just worry, like I wouldn't be surprised if you have a list for different things, like you have a list of schedules, to-do list for like gym, you know. You probably have a schedule like Mondays I'm doing cardio and abs. Tuesday I'm doing thighs and carbs. Wednesdays take a break, just, you know, have vegetables the whole day. Thursday, you know, you have shit like that. That's something that you love and appreciate, and that's something that you probably would love to do to somebody else, which is what makes you controlling, because you want to organize other people's lives, and this is why you kind of suck at love, because you want to organize people's lives, and that is controlling. You know what I'm saying? You know, whereas the Pisces is just like, do what you want. You as a Venus and Virgo, you kind of want to like tell people what to do, but it is obviously in good nature, even though sometimes. No, I feel like every Virgo has like a good purpose for doing things. You know, you have a good nature for doing things. It just may not come off as so sweet, because it's like a bit much. Also, because it's like, whoa, like what the fuck? I didn't know I was signing up for a mother to tell me what to do. You know, a mom to tell me to eat my vegetables. You may date somebody who just wants to be unhealthy, you know, and you also, because you're already worried about your own health, you're gonna worry about other people's health too, you know, which is not cool. And I know this, you always worry about other people's health and just like shit that they do in their lives, you know. But for the most part, yeah, I'd say like, not to say that you're not going to be able to have a good functioning relationship. I'm just saying like you probably going to be somebody that like, you'd probably prefer being in a relationship with your routine, your health, your scheduling, your work. You know, you even love going to work because you know it's something that you can rely on. You know, once again, it's the earth energy, and earth needs stability. So you know you're gonna gain stability from having an everyday job or a consistent job. You know what I'm saying? And then having your Venus in Virgo, in the 7th house. So 7th house is, you know, obviously your relationships, how you intermingle on a one-on-one basis. With this, I'd say you are a Pisces rising. So Venus is home in the 7th house, but once again, this is also going to be one of those placements that kind of chill out the Virgo energy. So you're also going to be one of those Virgos that, like, I say you would attract a lot of Pisces, a lot of people with Pisces risings or sun or moons with this particular placement, you know, because it is the 7th house, you know. So I feel like you're going to attract, this is definitely the placement where you generally just attract people who need help. Now, the Virgo energy usually does this on its own anyway. But having it in your 7th house, right? Like I said, Venus is home in the 7th house. But having it in Virgo, I feel like you may be somebody who loves and appreciates, like, doing 6th house shit, but with your partners. So you would want to have a relationship where both of you are going to the gym at the same time, and you both made schedules of what you're gonna do. You know, you both you want to share that with your partner. You like want to share, okay, so what are we doing on Monday, and like have a schedule for your life generally. Like you would want that, you know. And I feel like if you don't get that, you always try to create it, you know. But I feel like it may have made you realize that like some people aren't really about doing that, you know. Some people just want to go with the flow. Some people may be lazy on those two, like from the whole week, you know, and that may frustrate you because you're like, oh my god, we have to do this, we're not on schedule, like why are we not on schedule? And then you get nervous, and then you get naggy, and then you get like annoying a little bit, you know. But for the most part, I feel like this is definitely something that you would have idealized as having a relationship where you guys like schedule things together, and you go like maybe to the same work, or maybe you're in the same thing, but like regardless of whatever work you're doing, like a job you guys are doing, you kind of want to have a schedule of, okay, when I come back home you should do this, and I'll go do this, you know. So I feel like the good part about this is like because you're so good at organizing and having a schedule, let's say it's something like going to get groceries, you as a Venus and Virgo in the 7th house, you kind of know how to get into your partner's head and know things that they would like to do, rather, and knowing yourself, like, okay, I'll do this. So you may write down a grocery list and then be like, okay, I know you like buying alcohol, so you go to the liquor store, buy these things, and I'll go to this, I'll buy these things, and it's Misha at this time. You know how to like do shit like that. So you kind of know how to like compromise in that way, because 7th house is about somewhat compromising, so you know how to compromise, but in a working way. You know how to make shit work. So I feel like you also like to work on your relationships too. This is definitely the placement similar to the 2nd house, where you like to kind of get feedback on what's working, what's not working, just kind of eliminating what doesn't work and then like adding more emphasis on what does work. So you want your partner to tell you, okay, I like when you kiss me like this, and I don't like when you hold my shoulder like that. That's something that you love and appreciate, and you would give that feedback to your partners too, so that you can like build a functioning relationship. And I feel like that's a really good thing, because now you guys know how to like kind of love each other, like you understand each other's love languages. So it can be uncomfortable at first, obviously, because I guess the truth is weird, sometimes. But I feel like with this particular placement, this is like the pro of this placement is that you want feedback so that you can be better for your partner. But I feel like sometimes you may not get that, so it may really frustrate you, because now you're trying to this is definitely the placement where if you're not getting feedback, you're gonna start thinking, like, it's gonna open your brain to other possibilities. So you're gonna start overthinking why, like, if somebody doesn't tell you something the way it is, you're gonna start overthinking it for what maybe it isn't, and then that's gonna open many sub thoughts of a whole bunch of other things, and then you're gonna like drive yourself into anxiety. So I'd say definitely get a partner that understands this about you, that you want feedback and that you need feedback and that you want to be better for them, and you also want them to be better for you. But if you attract like a lot of Pisces people, that maybe they won't really do that because they just want to like go with the universal flow, it may just annoy you. So just find people that are on the same page as you, but just you have to realize this about yourself first, so yeah, that's that. And then if you have your Venus and Virgo in the 8th house, see, this is the placement where like shit just kind of gets really fucked up, right? Because Venus doesn't like the 8th house, and it also doesn't like Virgo, right? So when you put these things together, like Venus is like very repulsed by this energy somewhat, because now Venus in Virgo, having Virgo in the 8th house, this makes you an Aquarius rising. So you may be somebody that kind of like, not only do you love and appreciate secrets and things behind the closed doors and manipulation and all of that, but you have Virgo there too, so you're like kind of analyzing and trying to be better at doing these things, so on the positive end, you're like really good at fucking, and you know how to work with people's bodies because of Virgo. You know how to work with people's bodies, you know how to like bump and grind and shit like that. But you may be bumping and grinding on, like, if you're 16, you may be bumping and grinding on fucking 32-year-old men. And that's dog. I guess, like, in the world we live in, that's, like, pretty fucked up, But maybe to you, you love that shit. You fucking eat that shit up like cheesecakes, That's your thing, you just love and appreciate, like, doing the thing. I can't say that loud because my door is kind of open, but you like, 8th house shit is always like this is, you have to say things below, it has to be like shh, but you like, doing the things like with maybe your friend's ex-boyfriend or your friend's ex-girlfriend, you know what I'm saying, or your friend's father or your friend's mom, and you never tell them, you know what I'm saying, or like Tinder, Tinder's like a thing, but like you just go on Tinder just to hook up, you just want to fuck them and flight, just fucking flight, just the shit like that, or you're just really good, because once again, Virgo energy is always about improving and like logically and practically doing a better thing or doing a better job, I guess, so if you're putting this in the 8th house, you're trying to practically be better at like hiding secrets, and this is what you love and appreciate. See, and this is why Venus kind of sucks here, because like Venus is just trying to love and not be sensual and not be secretive, you know, just kind of like be like, oh darling, oh, why don't you kiss my hand and tell me you love me and go get me a cup of tea with biscuits, you know. But in Venus and Virgo, shit gets like a bit dark, you know what I'm saying? You like sneaking out of the house, but you know what time, because you know what time your parents go sleep, or you know what time this person goes to bed, because you're Virgo and you know patterns, you know. And when you know they're gonna go sleep, then that's when you go out clubbing, or that's when you go out like, I don't know, selling drugs or shit, like, I don't know, anything that's like taboo that you don't tell people about, like that's that shit that you like, and you know how to like build and be better at keeping those kinds of secrets. Oh shit. Oh shit. You just know how to like build on being a lot more secretive about these things. But at the same time, what makes like I guess the good part about this placement is that you kind of know how to filter through what people actually really want to say. So this is kind of like having Mercury in the 8th house, where you kind of feel what people really mean, you know, because once again, Virgo is ruled by Mercury. But having it in Venus, this is what you love and appreciate. You love and appreciate knowing that people don't know that you know exactly what they mean, or you know their ulterior motives, you know. So you love and appreciate being in the dark and then communicating as though you're completely clueless, you know. You just love leaving people in the dark too. And you love pretending that you are in the dark. Even though sometimes you can be in the dark about shit too, you know, can completely like not know things. But once you know, you maybe like it may be a type of situation where you don't really say it out loud. You just want to like see it through and see if you were right about things that you analyzed and things that like, you know, you felt, you know. But definitely you just feel through people's words. You feel through people's motives. But mostly about like, you're gonna feel through people's motives by like what they were saying, though, you know. You just know how to read in between the lines, but you know the intention behind why someone said something. And you usually probably attract a lot of people that are like also emotionally manipulative, or you could be like this, being emotionally manipulative, and then if things don't work your way, then you get nitpicky and like talk a lot, like you talk so much, you know. So yeah, that's the vibe. And I get this because I'm also an Aquarius rising with the Venus and Virgo in the 8th house, but this is my sun sign. So this is just what I see through people's bullshit. But you love and appreciate knowing that you can feel it, because Venus is all about feelings, you know. So you feel through that shit, you know, and you love that shit. That's cool. Nice for you. So if you have your Venus in Virgo in the 9th house, this is a lot better. Also, I feel like this is kind of the wise guru. This is like the wise Virgo, I feel. So the 9th house, we know, is about like wisdom and knowledge and shit, you know. So even though it is a square, I feel like throughout your life you kind of just have to learn how to add some wisdom to your practicality, you know. So add some, because 9th house is ruled by Jupiter, and we know Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So this is like a bit of an opposition, but like also a square. It's like a square is opposition, right? But not really, because it's just the house, not really like the planets or the signs. But low-key, you know, it shares energies. So I feel like with this, like I said, you just kind of have to learn how to add wisdom into your practicality, right? So I feel like with this kind of helps you know how to, it's like, okay, first of all, you're gonna love and appreciate all your experiences and everything that you've experienced in your life, but you know how to nitpick which experiences really helped you in real life matters. Like you're gonna know, okay, if I go through, like you're gonna know, okay, I don't wanna go through this. So even though I've been through this hectic situation, even though I got caught smoking weed, I know now not to smoke weed in these areas, and I know how to advise people not to smoke in these areas because they're gonna get caught, you know. So you know how to discriminate the good experiences and kind of make them into an overall like wise but with practicality kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing, you know, because generally having Venus in the 9th house, you're going to love all the experiences that you go through. But having it in Virgo, you're going to know, okay, I probably should not do this anymore, you know, because if it was in any other sign would be like, oh, okay, I don't mind going through that thing again because now I have more experience. And it could be the same with the Venus in Virgo, but I feel like because you have a Venus in Virgo and you kind of already have seen the outcome, you may be like, okay, I don't experience getting caught smoking anymore. So either A, let me just quit smoking overall, or let me just smoke at home. You know, there may not be like a middle thing where you get easily influenced also. I feel like, yeah, unless, once again, depends on your other placements. But I feel like with this particular placement, you also kind of, you know when something is going to be stupid or like a stupid idea, or when it's going to be like a general, okay, we can do this again, you know, that type of thing. Yeah. But definitely, I feel like with this, you're going to be a really good teacher. You just have to work on not... Because I also feel like Virgos have this somewhat God complex, you know? Just work on not, like, judging people for going through experiences and doing it again and doing it again. You know, just, like, let people be dumb sometimes. I know it's irritating, but just let it happen. You know, just let it happen and move on. You know, don't have to connect to them. Just, like, let them talk shit and, like, move on from that. And then if you have your Venus in Virgo in the 10th house, this is a double emphasis on the Virgo on the Earth energy. I feel like this is going to be one of the placements that, like, also kind of make you not so much of a good lover, because you're going to love and appreciate your status and, you know, I think you have what's this? Sagittarius rising. This is a Sagittarius rising. I feel like you definitely gonna be one of those people that may not take relationships so seriously unless they're benefiting you. You know, like unless you're actually seeing like practical benefits from the relationship, like practical resources from the person that you are dating, because you are already loving and appreciating working on your career, 10th house career, working 6th house, right? You're loving and appreciating working on your career. So I feel like with this placement, you'd be somebody who would love and appreciate somebody who's also like career orientated and goal orientated, you know. Like you definitely would like somebody, if you're not already this person, someone who's a workaholic, who takes work like very seriously, you know, who prioritize. I feel like you would probably be somebody who prioritizes work over you do like your friendship relationships, or like, I don't know, relationships with maybe your family members. I don't know, it could be, it obviously depends, like I say, it depends on like your other placements and your other planets and your north node and south node and all of that shit. But definitely, you're definitely going to be somebody who would who would love and appreciate working on their goals. And this is a really good thing, you know. I feel like you're somebody that like is you probably feel bad when you don't, like when you spend the whole day just doing nothing, because you in your head you're like, oh my god, I could have done so much today, you know. So like I said, a workaholic placement, you know, which is really dope. Which is really, really cool. Like I would admire this from somebody. You know, someone who's very goal orientated and who loves and appreciates working on their shit. So I also feel like you also, if you with somebody and they're not on their shit, you probably nag them and then you get worried because it's like, whoa, like why are you not like taking care of business? Like why are you just chilling? Why? Then you get naggy, like, oh my god, you're just wasting 24 hours doing nothing. You could have done so much right now. You could have like just won 1 million rand, but instead you're like fucking sitting in the couch watching Netflix. You know, so just chill out. Just know, hopefully you have some like Libra, Leo placements that like, you know, help you chill out, or Taurus placements that help you chill out. Maybe some fucking Cancer placements that help you chill out. Pisces, maybe, you know, just like learn to chill out. You don't always have to work, even though this is basically your love language. But I also feel like because it's your love language, you know how to help other people, like make a schedule, because you definitely are a beast at making a schedule for how you're gonna get to the top and strategizing shit, you know. Definitely that's cool for you. And you can do this for other people. I feel like that would be your love language, you know, telling people how to organize themselves in such a way that's going to help them benefit their career or their end goal, because that's what you love and appreciate, the end goal. And you love and appreciate the steps you took to get to the end goal, because it's like, you know, the steps, you know how to like analyze each step and be like, okay, if I step like this but like this, then this is going to be a better step than if I was like stepping like this, you know. And you can do that for other people, so that's cool. And then if you have your Venus in Virgo in the 11th house, so the 11th house, as we know, is the houses of unfamiliarities, association, social media. So having it in the having your Venus in Virgo in the 11th house kind of makes you somebody that, like, how should I say this? So you already love and appreciate having, I feel like this is, what is this? Venus. This is a Scorpio, someone with a Scorpio rising, right? I'd say you already love and appreciate, and you're already good, like you're book smart, definitely. But you also like somebody who's very street smart. So this would be the Virgo that like kind of hustles people, and you know how to speak to anybody in the whole world. Or if you don't already have a business online, then you already kind of know how to hustle or like, you know, scam people in a dope way, in a very smart, strategic way. But I feel like your love language would be, sixth house, because you working on building your associations. I'd say that. And knowing who, like, you know how to discriminate, sixth house, different people. 11th house, you know how to discriminate people, like, you know, you can analyze somebody's Instagram and kind of size them down to, okay, you're into these things, you're this kind of person. So you kind of know, you would know how to approach somebody in a specific way, and like know the jargons, the language to use with somebody just based on their social media or who they are associated with. So you know how to look at a group of, like, let's say you went to a cafe and you saw a group of girls just chilling together, you'd know like what they're about just based on what they wear, what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? You kind of know, you can get into their minds in that way. And then if you, for example, want something from that group, if you're selling clothes or shoes or whatever, you kind of know how to approach those people. Like, you know, if they're like super goth or whatever, or super cool, super chill people, you kind of know how to, like, I don't know, just mutate yourself to like speak to those people, you know. Or, you know, just if they're like, I don't know, IT guys that are like geeky and dorkish and like very intellectual, you know how to like modify your that way in order to like speak to them, you know. But for the most part, I feel like you love and appreciate just knowing that you have this ability to like collect to the overall like intellectual or social media or broad consciousness of people, of humanity. You know, you just know how to like change your thought patterns, your speech patterns, just to accommodate somebody. Because also Virgo is all about accommodation too. So you know how to accommodate yourself to anybody. And I feel like this would also be the type of person, like with this, you love going on Instagram, but your Instagram would be set up in such a way that kind of like you can speak to anybody, you know. You probably like always are on Instagram, but it's always organized. But you probably have like, I don't know, you may also like ask for people's opinions on things. So you may have like always like have those stickers on to ask people questions about things, just so you can see like how people think, or the majority, like what the majority of people would go for, you know, shit like that, you know. But definitely you love and appreciate like communicating with people, being on social media, connecting on social media, maybe even working on social media. You probably have like a whole online job, you know, shit like that, because sixth house is about daily job, and then 11th house is about social media. So if you put those things together, then you work on social media. So that's your thing. That's cool. And then last but not least, if you have your Venus in Virgo in the 12th house, so the 12th house is exalted in Venus, right? So with this, I think you are a, what is this? Venus in the 12th house. What is it? A Libra rising, my bad. You're a Libra rising with this placement. So having, like I said, Venus is exalted in the 12th house, but it obviously falls in Virgo. This is a bit of a clash, right? But I think this is definitely someone who is whole. So with this, you somebody that kind of knows how to go, like you love and appreciate people, and you kind of know when to get into your Virgo bag and nitpick when you see something isn't going in a good direction. But for the most part, I feel like you're not as hectic as somebody with a Venus and Virgo in the 6th house would be. You know, this is definitely somebody who would like, you know how to go with the flow. You love people for who they are, right? But the balance that you have with that is when they're going offside or when they're doing some fuck shit, you know how to like kind of put them back into place, or you know how to say specific things to kind of make them think, because having Libra there is going to help you like be able to communicate, you know, harmoniously too. But for the most part, you're just going to know how to like speak to somebody in such a way that kind of jogs their senses or make them make sense, you know. So this is definitely the Venus and Virgo placement that like you love unconditionally. Like you're a lot, like this placement is a really dope placement to have as a Virgo, I would say. You know, you know how to, you're not as chaotic as maybe a Venus and Pisces where you just lose yourself in love. Like, you know when to make sense, you know kind of when to put boundaries, you know how to work on your dreams and not just daydream all day. Even though you love daydreaming, you know how to practicalize that, you know, in such a beautiful Virgo way, perfectionist way, detailed way. You know how to like take your imagination and make it like perfect, and you know how to help other people and connect to other people's imagination if they need your help, and you know how to practicalize that for them. You know how to fucking like draw, and like your drawings aren't like Pisces where it's like kind of free flowing, and even if it is, it's like somewhat also detailed, and you know the specific details to put on a painting or drawing or music or whatever it is that you do. Like, even though it's going to be very artistic because of that 12th house, you also kind of know the importance of the details of that shit, you know. So I feel like with this placement, that's why it's a lot better, because it's a balance, you know. It's a balance between Mercury and Jupiter and Neptune. So you know how to like kind of balance these two energies out. And even though at first, like growing up, it may have been difficult because you may have not known, am I like the super critical bitch, or am I like the super go with the flow bitch, you know? So I feel like as you grow up, you kind of know how to merge the two together and be like, oh, okay, you know, if we put these things together, it can be a lot better. Like you're like a powerhouse, basically. You're just a creative like you know how to orchestrate your creativity in a perfect way, you know, without being too judgmental on yourself, but also knowing just the right amount of words to push yourself or push other people to do better, you know. That's the vibe. So congratulations for having that placement, if you do have that placement. And this concludes the video. This concludes the video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like I said, please like, subscribe, share, and hit me up for a reading if you would like a reading from me. And I will see you in my next video where I will talk about Venus in Leo. Bye.